Today I'm going to be doing a really easy food prep video. This is great if you're a beginner and even if you're not, so stick around. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN and I follow a whole food plant-based way of eating. Here you're going to find quick and easy whole food plant-based recipes that are very easy that anyone can do. I like to keep things very simple in my life. So if that's something you're into, please subscribe, and you can also follow me on Instagram for more plant-based content. And as always, the recipes will be in the description box below for everything that I'm making today. Please check out the other things in my description box. I have some discount codes down there. I have a bunch of resources for you, and my online course is still on sale for another couple of weeks, so check that out as well. So as I said in the intro, this is going to be a food prep video. I like to food prep opposed to meal prep. To me, it's a lot easier that I just have components in my refrigerator that I can make meals and not specifically meals individually placed in containers. I'm going to be doing some apple cinnamon overnight oats. I'm going to be showing you how I prep my veggies, and I'm going to be showing you the starch that I'm going to be using for the week. I like to pick one starch. Sometimes it's potatoes, sometimes it's rice, sometimes it's rice and quinoa together, which is what I'm going to be doing today, and I'll show you how I do that. And this video is just to kind of demystify food prep. I want to show you how easy it is. It doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. If you just want to do food prep for a couple of days, great. If you want to do it for the whole week, great. You can do as little or as much as you want for whatever fits your lifestyle, and I think that is the best way to go. You don't have to do exactly what I do, but come up with your own little routine that you do on the weekend or whenever your days off are, and just get a couple of things prepared ahead of time to make your life easier during the week. Whether you're working or you're retired, you got kids, you got grandkids, whatever, we all want to simplify our life and not have to worry about what we're going to make for dinner, lunch, whatever. So let's get started. So anytime you're doing any kind of food prep, meal prep, you want to start with the thing that takes the longest to cook. And today that's going to be the tofu. Nothing that we're making today really takes a lot of time to cook. We're only cooking a couple of things, so it's pretty simple. I like to use the high protein, extra firm tofu from Trader Joe's. Many other stores have the extra firm. It's got more protein. I don't have to press it, so that saves me time right there. So I'm just going to drain off this little bit of moisture that's in there, and then we're going to cube this up. I'm going to do 2 packages so I have some for a few days. So we're just going to cube it up, put it in this bowl, season it up, and get it in the oven. So the way I cut my tofu is I cut it down the middle here. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? I try to get in the middle here, then I cut it again, and then again in the middle, this side, and then that side. And we just throw it all in our bowl here. Now you can use whatever kind of spices you want. I mean, there's a ton you could use. Garlic salt, onion salt, if you wanted to use a pizza seasoning, Italian seasoning, a Mexican seasoning. You could just use salt and pepper. You could do lemon pepper. I mean, whatever you want it. I just like using the same ones because I'm a creature of habit, but this is very customizable. So I'm just giving you an idea, and you can run with it. And then you just want to make sure nobody's sticking together. Okay, let's get rid of this. And you want to make sure you use a nice big bowl. So I'm going to be using this onion salt from Trader Joe's. I ran out of my onion powder, so I'm using this. And what does this have? This has granulated onion, granulated garlic, minced onion, kosher salt, green onion, and dried chives. I think that sounds good. So we will give this a generous seasoning here. And we're going to do this a couple times. And then I have just some garlic powder. And then my Old Faithful smoked paprika. You could use sweet paprika, hot paprika, whatever kind you like, or not at all. You could put cumin. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. Then I always put on nutritional yeast. It kind of helps give it a crispy little coating. And then I just toss it, and just be careful because this bowl's really full. I always seem to get a bowl that's too small, and then I'm gotta use my skills here. All right, then I'm gonna do it one more time with everything, give it another toss. You could also do, if you wanted to marinate it, you could do that too. Marinating is just another step that you have to let it kind of soak for a bit. I just rather get it seasoned up and throw it in the old oven. And you're just making sure that everything is covered with spices. All right, now we're gonna put it on a lined baking sheet. We're gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna use my air fryer setting on my oven at 425 for about 15 minutes. If you have just a regular air fryer, I would say 400 for 15 minutes. And you can always use your convection setting at 400, or you could just bake it at 400 in the oven. So it's up to you. You don't have to have an air fryer. Then you just wanna lay them on your baking sheet so they're not touching. And if you want them crispier, cook them longer. You know, you're just going to use your own judgment. All right, I'm going to fill up my baking sheet here and then put it in the oven, and then we'll start up with the next item that we're going to prepare. Next up, I'm going to make my rice and quinoa combo. It's just a half a cup of each. And make sure that you rinse your quinoa. It can be a little bitter at times, so I like to give it a really good rinse. I don't rinse my rice. Don't hate me, don't come after me. And then I like to add a half a cube of this not chicken bouillon. It gives it a really great flavor. So I'm gonna just stick a half a cube of that in there. There we go. And if you don't have a rice cooker, then you know you can cook it on the top of a stove. If you have an Instant Pot, you can make it in there. And don't worry, the quinoa and the rice will cook perfectly together. They'll cook at the same time. It won't be any problem. Sometimes I even do white rice and brown rice at the same time, and it comes out perfect. So don't worry about that. All right, I'm gonna rinse this off and then add my 2 cups of water and get it going in my rice cooker, which I've had for probably 30 years. And it's still going, and it looks like it's been through a war, but it works great. All right, I've got my quinoa rinsed and in my rice cooker container here. Put the water in, lid on, and then I just plug it in and hit the little button. And the reason why I like to use quinoa is because I do get more protein from that, and it's a nice variation on just rice. So let's get this going. So next up, I want to prepare some veggies, and I'm not going to necessarily steam them right now. You could if you wanted to, but I just want to get it all washed, prepared, put it in a container. That way when I come home, I can just throw it in the steamer and I've got veggies in minutes. So I've got a couple heads of broccoli, I've got some cauliflower I need to use up, and I've got a carrot as well. And I'm just going to chop these all up. Usually I just break it like this. Break off what you can. And then when it starts to get down to this point, and then keep going. And I might not have a big enough container, so I may have 2 containers, which is fine. You just want to break them down into these kind of sizes. And I don't mind the stem either. I will, you know, cut that up too. I think it's great fiber, it tastes good. No need to waste it, but that's totally up to you. I do the same with the cauliflower. and get those in there. And then you can choose whatever kind of sauce you want to put on there. If you want to do a cheese sauce or maybe just some teriyaki, whatever you want, or maybe you just want some spices. But this way it's all prepared for you. It's you don't have to wash it and cut it up and do all that. Which, you know, when you're coming home from work, it makes it a lot easier. But like I said, if you want to go ahead and steam it up, you can do that as well. All right, I'm just going to continue chopping all these up, and then we'll move on to our next project. All right, next up, I'm going to make some overnight oats, and I'm only going to make 3 days worth. I don't like to really do more than that. I don't know, it just gets kind of funky to me. So I've just got these wide mouth mason jars. And overnight oats are great because you can just take them with you if you're going out, or you can take it to work with you for breakfast or whatever, lunch. I mean, you can eat these anytime. So it's very simple, and again, this is very modifiable, customizable. I'm gonna do like an apple cinnamon one today, but you could do like a carrot one, a strawberry one, peach one, whatever you want. You know, you're just going to add the ingredients that you think sound good. The first thing I like to do is just add a little pinch of salt to each one. If you don't use salt, then don't do that. And then I have some gluten-free rolled oats because I have celiac, so I have to be gluten-free. So if you're not gluten-free, you can use whatever kind of oats you want. And we're just going to put a half a cup in each jar. And it'll make a little bit of a mess, unless you have one of those little funnel things, which I should probably invest in. All right. And then I like to add a little bit of this monk fruit because I like it a little sweet. And I'm just going to add a 1/4 teaspoon to each jar. Some people don't like, you know, monk fruit or erythritol, but, you know, I'm trying to be low sugar. Of course, you could use maple syrup, whatever, that's up to you. Then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of ground flaxseed. You could use chia seeds, whatever you like. These are great for your omegas. And then I want to put in some cinnamon, and I love cinnamon, so I'm putting a 1/2 teaspoon in. Now I use Ceylon cinnamon because I think it's way superior to just your regular cinnamon, but you can do whatever you have at home. But I really like cinnamon. If you are not that big of a fan, then you can use less. I'm using a 1/2 teaspoon. And this is also optional, but I'm going to put in a scoop of protein powder because I want a little bit more protein than what these oats are going to give me. So 1 scoop. It also gives it a really nice vanilla flavor. But like I said, optional. Next up, we're going to add a cup of soy milk to each jar. You could actually add whatever kind of milk you would like, but I like soy milk because it has more protein, and those are my goals right now. I'm just using Trader Joe's soy milk. Then once you get everything in there, just give it a good shake. And these are going to be so creamy dreamy when you take them out of the fridge in the morning. Okay, I'm going to add some apple. And I have about 3/4 of an apple I just chopped up. Just distribute it as evenly as you can. And that's it. And then you just put the lids on and stick them in the fridge. All right, so we've got our overnight oats. Tofu came out perfect. Our rice quinoa pick and then our veggies. Now I wanted to show you how you can put this together. I mean, this is already put together. You're just gonna grab this in the morning, eat it, and go. But I'll just show you how easy this is. This is already prepared. So I just steamed up some of those veggies. I've got my rice and I've got my tofu, so I'm gonna show you how I build my plate. First up, I want half of my plate veggies. This is what's gonna fill you up. It's very low calorie density. So you're gonna get a lot of food for not a lot of calories. All right, so we've got a nice side of my plate is all veggies. Next, I divide this side in half. I have a quarter and a quarter. So a quarter of it's going to be my rice quinoa mix. Just like that. Okay. And then the rest will be some tofu. And for me, this is perfect because I get my tofu, which helps me stay full longer. I've got my starch and I've got my veggies. So to me, this is a perfect plate. Then all that's left to do is just to add a sauce. I've got a sweet chili sauce, or I've got some coconut aminos, or you could use soy sauce, whatever you'd like. And you're just gonna use that on your dinner or lunch or whatever as your sauce. And then you're done. And having everything prepared like this is just so much easier for you when you come home from work or whatever it is. And you don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So you throw some veggies in the steamer and then you heat up your tofu and your rice and you're done. Add a sauce, good to go. So food prep doesn't have to be overwhelming or a million things. I mean, to me, this is the bare minimum that you need to do. A veggie, a starch, a protein. If you want to use a can of beans, then that's even easier. I prefer tofu. It's a better protein source for vegans, and it's low in fat and it keeps me satisfied. So that's just my personal preference. But if you can just do these few things, you know, this is enough for what, 3-4 days? You know, and if you have your freezer full of frozen veggies, you could even buy frozen rice. I mean, there's so many easy shortcuts that staying on this plant-based way of eating is really not that hard. And it can be really delicious. So this is great if you're just starting out, or maybe you've been doing it a while and you kind of lost your way. Just go back to the basics. That's what I always do. So I hope you like this video. If you learned something, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you've made it this far in the video, please comment below with food prep, and that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate your support. Remember, all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate and your weight. Until next time, thank you.